So hello guys, welcome back to my another video of this course, and this video is going to be about database modeling. And what is database modeling? Database modeling is just a design for your database storage. Like what are all the data that you are going to store, and what are the relationship between those data. Okay, for example, for my personal project data management, as you can see, we have buyer, which a lot of transaction under that one buyer. And so what is the relationship between them? I'm gonna show it to you, and how you gonna draw it out, and how you gonna design your database model. Let's just get straight to the computer. I will show you how I do it, and yeah, just get into it. And I will show you my screen. Mm, Wait a moment. Here is the last video planning, and first thing we're gonna consider is what are the data we are going to store. So for example, my project is data management. Let's let's zoom a little bit. Data management. Okay. So there are information about buyer, buyer, and information about transaction, transaction, and those transactions contain at least one item. So we have item, and yes, I think there are three major things that we're going to store is buyer, transaction, and item. So we're gonna break it down to another step, which transaction there are detail about it, which there are two type of transaction. One is red and another one is green. I already have explained to you what is red transaction and what is green transaction. So if you don't understand it, you can go to my previous video to figure out what it is. And so transaction type, let's write it down here. Transaction type. Okay, and type. And I think that's all for now. Let's figure out what the all the information about those things. For example, buyer, there are name under it, name, phone number, and address. Okay, and the transaction, there are item, and wait item and the buyer who own that transaction. We're gonna store buyer here. And type, we want to know what kind of transaction that is. And I think there are more. Oh yes, date. Okay, so now let's talk about item that go it right behind them, and on the left side, I mean, there are name, and there are unique price, which all items must have their own price. I think yeah, that's all. That's all for the item and transaction. Only the name. So usually what we are going to do is, this is the table that we are going to create in our database, and each table mostly have primary key. And if you want to understand about it more, you can just go to YouTube or Google to figure out or research something about it, and you might understand it more, because this course is not about specific skill. It's more about the process, how I create my own project from the start. And so I will show you what I'm doing with the project, and not going deep to this specific thing. Okay, so this is all the data that we're going to store. So let's write it down. Let's draw it into the table. Let's draw it here. And there are tools for you to draw all the table and design all the relationship between those tables. And yeah, one of the best tool is Draw.io, which you can go to the browser and type draw.io, and you click enter, it will redirect you to that tool. Okay, now let me draw all the table here. So this is buyer table, and usually there's ID, primary ID, which it represent of this table. So if you gonna talk about one specific buyer, we don't talk about their name or about their location. We talk about their ID. If you want to identify who is who, we're gonna talk about their ID. Okay, because the name might be changed and the address might be changed, only the ID is not changeable. Okay, so there's ID, there's name, address, mobile, phone number, maybe the created date, when we created date. Okay, so this one table, and another table is transaction, which here transaction. So you can draw whatever you want as long as you understand it, because this drawing is just for you personally, for you to understand what are you doing. Okay, what you are doing, I mean. And yes, it doesn't have to be professional or standard. Just draw whatever you want, because it is for you only. Okay, but if you want to make it standard, you can use professional tool like Draw.io, like I mentioned before, and make it clean. Okay, so this is just a draft for me, and this project only for me to do it, so it's not necessary to do a professional one. So let's draw this down. ID, yes, ID for each table. In the next movement, I will show you why we need the ID. Okay, ID item. So here, one transaction, there are going to be a lot of items under it. So we don't want to use one column. This is one column. It's not usually draw like that. If it is in the database, we show like this. Here, like this. This is ID. This is name or something like that. And okay. So, but in the drawing, we want to draw it like this. And so what? Yes, item. So one transaction, there are going to be a lot of items, so we don't want to store it in one column. We going to store in another table, which is transaction transaction detail. You can name it whatever you want, but for me I choose detail. Okay, so what is in the transaction detail table? So in this table we not need the primary key ID because we have this ID. We want this ID to represent this transaction, one transaction. So we say name it like transaction ID, which it points to this table, and what is under transaction, it's going to be item name, not item name. I will show you a little bit more. And I think the quantity, how many of that item that it taken. Okay, so quantity QTY quantity, and I think that's all. We don't want to store the total price. Why? Because we can calculate it by taking this price and multiply by quantity, and we'll show on the screen by itself. We don't want to return your database. We don't want to do that. We want to make it more efficient for the database, for the better performance. Okay, so in here we don't want to store the item name or the item price. Why? Because we want to point to another table, which is item table here. So in item table we have its ID. So we know what item we are talking about in the transaction. So the item, it has name and unit price. Okay, so when we store on this, so this is going to be item ID. So for example, we have one item in the item table, which is has ID number 1, and when we want to talk about it, we just fill it in here, number 1. It means we pointing to this item, that item. Okay, so we want to store only ID, which is this is the primary key. If you want to know more about it, you can go to YouTube to understand it, why we need primary key. And this is foreign key. Okay, and okay, we have buyer and transaction. We have owner, who own that transaction. So we put buyer ID because it's going to point to one specific buyer, something like this. And yes, I think that's it. Oh yeah, one more is type. We have another table which is type, transaction type, by our right type in here. It has its own ID and its own name. Okay, so in here we're going to store these IDs. So we write type ID. So when we say number 1, we're going to know what is that type. Okay, and actually there are more about it. There are something like 1 to many, 1 to 0, like something like, for example, here one buyer can have many transactions, like I draw before. And like draw in the last video, which there is an interface which show all the detail or the transaction below the user. So we going to put it here, something like this. One to many, and this is one to one, and type it usually have this one to many. Like for example, one grain type can have a lot of transaction under it. There is going to be a lot of grain transaction. Okay, but in this table we have only two things, which is red and gray. So there is only two rows. It's a little bit hard to imagine if you don't understand the basic of database relationship, but if you have already understand it, this is will make you understand it more. Okay, and one transaction going to have a lot of items. I think this is not one to one, this is one to many. Why? Because this transaction only point to one item, because we have only one item ID in here. So if we're going to store a lot of item in here, we're going to, like, let me draw here. So this is table 1. We have transaction number 1, and this is 1 as well, and going to point to another item 1. So this is 1 to 1. 1, sorry, 1. So if there are more items in one transaction, we're going to store it like this. Number 2, which point to item number 2. Number 3, which is point to item number 3. And this transaction detail going to store the same transaction ID here, which is number 1. 1, 1, 1. So it point to the same, which means it under this one transaction. Okay, hope you get it. And yeah, I think this is it for my database modeling. Like I mentioned it before, it doesn't have to be professional. As long as you understand what you are doing and what you are planning, and make it clear for you for the relationship between each table in the database. Yes, you can draw it on paper as well. It make it a lot easier. For me, I draw it in here to show you how it works. And yeah, I think my system only need this 5 table. So that's it for my system, for my database modeling. If you don't understand anything, you can ask me in the question as well. And I'm sorry if it is a little bit misleading or confusing. Please comment it below. I will explain to you in the next video. And yeah, this is it for me. Thank you for watching, and stay home and stay safe. Goodbye.